Hey Aries, welcome to October 2022. And it's quite the month for you guys. We have a big full moon in the middle of the month, right in your sign. Venus going into the heart of the sun and the sign of your significant others, which is a big, big deal in Libra, where she hasn't been for a couple of 100 years. And we also have Jupiter leaving your sign as he exits for Pisces at the end of the month, while Mars, your ruler, goes retrograde. All said and done, it's a big month for most Aries, and I'm an Aries sun and moon, so I am with you on this. So before we get going and talk about some of the highlights of the month ahead for you, a couple of notes about what I'm up to, okay? My name is Lori Lothe, and if you're new here, please like and subscribe. I am using sky codes from Hellenistic and Babylonian astrology to tell true sky stories about your sky and what the sky may hold for you in this month ahead. If you are unfamiliar with whole sign houses, that is what I advocate you try casting your chart in, and you can see my description box below a free tutorial on how to do that. Second of all, your rising sign will always be the most accurate. You can also listen for your sun and moon sign on various videos to round out the picture. Alrighty? Now, the first thing I want to say is, since every month I'm trying to promote something, I am just on the cusp as I record this of hitting my first 10,000 subscribers. So I'm going to be putting a contest into place, and you'll see the links to the contest in the description box below. And you can help my channel grow by following some of the contest options, such as liking, subscribing, putting a comment in the comments specifically so I know to enter you into the contest, plus, sign up for my newsletter, and you also get entered into the contest for a bunch of free goodies. So check that out. That's my big promotion for October. Let's get rolling. All right, so I don't know about us Aries, but we've been through a lot of energy going through our body since Jupiter entered into the house of our body, right? Whoa, back in the month of May, around May 10th, 2022. And he's been going through there for a while. He's retrograding now, so it's a little less intense, thank goodness. But the point is, Jupiter in the house of the body can make us feel highly big. We can expand our weight, expand our energy field. We have more impact on other people. We feel a little bit more like king of the mountain, queen of the mountain, that kind of thing. And it's a very lucky transit, and I have to say, since Jupiter entered in May into my first house as an Aries sun, derivative houses, I've had not only a bit of weight gain, but I've also had a huge uptick in my astrology practice and my YouTube channel. So yay Jupiter, yay us. Now, I'm going to bring this up, even though more of it will apply to the month of November, but Jupiter is going to retrograde around October the 28th. He's already retrograded, but sliding into Pisces. And that's going to give us a sense of losing some of this big largesse, this big momentum, this feeling of being, invincible, especially in Aries, commander-in-chief, make it so, Captain Picard, Jupiter, to boldly go where we've never gone before. And then we're going to go quiet, right? At the end of the month, just the last 2 or 3 or 4 days of the month as we head into Halloween, Jupiter goes into our 12th house, and it's going to make us more chill, more mellow. Maybe we want to go to a spiritual sanctuary, study with a spiritual teacher, learn something new, take a trip to a foreign land, likely a foreign land we've been to before. And that Jupiter transit will be October 28th, by the way, until December 20th. 9 out of 10 Aries will be hightailing it off to a foreign land during that transit, but yes, to a place you've been before. Or go back and study and learn something you've learned before. Or go back and look at getting rid of your addictions and bad habits and getting a bit of enlightenment. So there is this kind of shift of bigness for us. Now, also interestingly, Mars, the ruler of our sign, right? So we like this guy, he's important. He has been moving through Gemini since August 20th. And he'll be there, by the way, till next third week of March 2023. Wherever that Gemini sign piece of real estate is for all of us, we're having a huge amount of Martian flow and Martian decisiveness, and also cutting away deadwood. So for you Aries folk, or us, I should say us Aries folk, this is our third house of trips and travel and siblings and skills-based learning and commuting even, and our local neighborhood. And Mars will retrograde at the very end of the month. He'll start his retrogradation on the 30th of October, and then he'll be spending until January 12th, going back over old ground with trips, travel, siblings, skills-based education, all those third house features. So those are 2 big stories. And yes, they're at the end of the month kind of thing, but they really are important, really important for Aries people. Now, the big full moon that's coming up for us is exquisite. And, it's going to be a luscious big midpoint, like around 16 degrees. Let me check my degree on the moon. 16 degrees of Aries full moon on October the 9th. And if you want to know what that full moon is bringing in the house of your body, your personhood, things you want for yourself, your own sense of selfness, you know, your first house, drive first house. Well, your full moon is actually fruiting and completing something that you started when it was a new moon, April the 1st, 2022. So you might want to go back and think about the first couple of weeks of April and what were you hatching then in your own life plans and the sense of yourself and all of that. That could be now coming back for a full kind of like the ripening or sometimes the completion of that path and things like that. If you have a rising sign Aries, it's anywhere between, I'd say 10 degrees of Aries to 20 degrees of Aries, that middle decan, you're really going to feel this full moon fully. You're really going to feel it that, you know, for you, it is a big deal. Now, I do a full moon video every month and I go into a lot more detail with stars and asteroids and angles the moon is making, but just know you're coming to some kind of full completion of something you started in April that's happening in the middle of the month of, well, not the middle, the 9th of the month of October at 16 degrees of Aries. Next, you are a Mars ruled being. So kind of going in, not in chronological order, but in the order of things that I think you need to know about as an Aries sign. So basically there is a thing, you know, called the ruler of your sky, the Lugna Lord. For you guys, that's Mars, because he's the ruler of Aries. And he's going to be involved as the host of an eclipse that's coming up in the sign of Scorpio, his kingdom. So he's hosting a new moon eclipse on the 26th of October. Now, this is an eclipse that is conjunct Venus, which is a good thing. And that can bring something positive to our lives. Although Venus is in the sign of her exile or debility in the sign of Scorpio, she's still a benefic planet. She's been a witchy sorceress vibe there. And where your Scorpio zone of influence is for an Aries rising is your 8th house of other people's money. So this is an eclipse cycle that's been playing out through your house of loans and taxes and mortgages, inheritances, your partner business and marriage partners with shared resources and alimony and spousal support, grants and stipends, etc. You've been having this South Node transit through this part of your sky in earnest since January of 22, and will complete in July of 23. And this is kind of to say you're letting go of certain things in that part of your sky. Like this is a releasing and a letting go and a surrender and a transformation of this part of your reality. Now, it's interesting because I can relate as an Aries sun and moon because it's a tax house. And I moved across the country from Montreal to Vancouver to escape god-awful provincial taxes that I didn't know were ragingly high when I moved to that province to be near my daughter who was at McGill. And this is a story that started in earnest as the beginning of that energy of the Scorpio tax house getting energized started to show up with a partial eclipse in November of 2023. So a lot of us are looking at these, the idea of our investment monies, our savings, our resources that have to do with how we generate money by harnessing other people's money, loans and bank loans as well, mortgages. So this eclipse has something to do with that. So I want you to go into the thought pattern here about this is a new beginning. This is a new moon. This is a new generating something fresh, something new for you, but of a great magnitude. But with Venus, the goddess of money, conjunct this eclipse, this could be a really good punchy, yay us, Aries energy around a really important shift in how we manage resources that aren't ours and we can attain access to them. Yes, for some of us, it can be an inheritance. I'm not going to pretend that this transit doesn't bring that. It does, but it can also be all of a sudden you have a spouse or shared resources, or your spouse has more money and you have more comfort and ease. So things like that. I do like the money goddess conjunct an eclipse in a money house for us Aries. Now I'm going to go a little bit more chronological. I've got a big chart up in front of me. You won't believe how much stuff is happening. I literally have like 12 or 13 aspects that I'm going to be doing videos on in the month of October separately. So it's a busy month. I want to talk about the fact that 3 planets go direct. This is going to give us all some breathing room. You know, it's been retrograde, everybody retrograde. It's all do the moonwalk, right? So all of a sudden we get a breathing room space as Mercury and then Pluto and then Saturn will move into direct motion in the month of October. It's going to feel a lot like things that were stuck are suddenly able to move forward. Now, for you guys, the areas of stuck and slow and regressed moving forward are specific to you being an Aries. So let's talk about some of those, you know, stories in your natal sky. First of all, Mercury stations direct around the 24th degree of Virgo And he does that in your 6th house of health and health protocols around October the 2nd. So, and your business routines and your workaday routines and debt relief, paying off that credit card. Someone owes you money, they finally pay it back. Mercury's in dignity in his home sign and is a sign of his exaltation here. So as he goes direct, look for some kind of relief around health challenges and good news around those, especially also with coworkers and workspace stuff. And finally, perhaps with the debt relief stuff. So Mercury moving direct, yes, that's October the 2nd. Then on the 8th, Pluto goes direct. Now, Pluto is a slow-moving, sluggish giant, but he is moving finally forward in the tail end of Capricorn. This allows for a lot of us Aries to get some movement forward in our career zone and some power and wealth movement indeed around what we're doing in the career zone, what we're offering up to the world in our career zone. And with Pluto now going forward, yay, yes, we can get that momentum that we really want around October the 8th. Now, it's a slow turning, right? But it's going to start to pick up speed as we move towards Christmas and beyond. What else can I say? I want to talk about Saturn, and then we'll talk about that great Cazimi in your 7th house. So Saturn has been undergoing a lot of pressure throughout 21. Or Saturn indeed has been pressuring Uranus. Back in February, June, and December of 2021, Saturn in his home sign dignity of Aquarius has been squaring Uranus and Taurus, influencing the whole world, feeling like we have disruptions, rebellions, rules that want to be broken, like really a lot of volatility in various parts of our lives individually and collectively. Saturn is definitely the rule maker for the people in Aquarius, what like societal abiding laws, rules, restrictions, pandemic lockdowns do we have to pay attention to. With Uranus and Taurus, the rebellion, the iconoclast, the trucker convoy in Canada, whatever, that kind of stuff. Now, and even the Insurrection Day thing in the United States, whatever that was about, is a part of this rebellious square energy that's been playing out. Now it's October. In the first 2 weeks, it's kind of getting close to being the 4th pass of Uranus squaring and Saturn squaring Uranus, but it's not going to be precise, but we're going to feel it all through the first 2 weeks of October. And it's going to feel like the last grind of this stuff. And for us, Aries people, this is happening with Saturn in our 11th squaring Uranus in our 2nd. Now, this is about money, earnings, voice, vocation. We're trying to break free. Us Aries are trying to find innovative, new and fresh and exciting ways to make money. And we're also in a bit of a rags to riches path right now. I mean, Uranus going through our 2nd house can bring us sudden rags to riches vibe or riches to rags, either one since 2019, but very strong eruptions around the money story and lightning bolts of change, especially with the North Node here till July of 2023. Look for some significant bolts of money increase. Now, Saturn is holding us back. Saturn is like squaring, dutiful, responsible, sober-minded, logical, Spock-like Saturn in Aquarius has been kind of kiboshing some of that. And this last time of the feeling of constriction around this kind of breaking free financial energy will be on in the first 2 weeks of October. And as the end of October comes, it begins to wane. So pay attention to that theme running out through the first half of the month. Second thing I want to say about Saturn is it will go direct. And this is the 3rd planet to go direct in October. Aren't we relieved? I am. And so anyway, I don't have retrograde planets in my natal chart, like not any of the major planets. So I really don't like the feel of the retrogradations. So Saturn will be going retrograde on the date of, looking at my calendar, October the 22nd at 18 degrees of Aquarius. Now, first of all, it's good for us Aries because it will give us greater mobility, momentum, finally, in great gains from our career, financially and reputation-wise. One of the meaning of the 11th, any kind of great gains that we receive, given Saturn's in charge, will be legacy value, foundationally good, slow but steady maybe, but solid, like solid gains. The increases you make now financially and in your reputation for your career and perks and rewards can stand the test of time. Saturn may have been kind of like asking us to go back and review our friendship circles and our groups of belonging. Like, I don't think I renewed some of my astrology belonging memberships, but I did keep one of them. I think I kept ISAR, but forgot to renew ESAR or whatever. No, NCGR, but not, so I kind of let some of my astrology things lapse and my membership groups lapse. I'm letting go of certain friendship groups as Saturn was retrograding, asking for review in the last few months. Now he's going direct and he's saying, okay, whoever stood the test of your his retrogradation, whoever's left standing, those are the friends for you. Anything else I'd say? No, that's about that. And then finally, because I'm not going to cover every little smidgen of an aspect this month. Believe me, there's just too much to cover. I will say this. I want to address Venus going into the Cazimi in the heart of the sun. But every 200 years, she goes into new parts of the sky called a Venus star point. And this is the first star point in Libra in about that 200 years. So it's a big deal for the world. And for us, Aries, it's angular to us. It's at the end of it's across the way in our 7th house of marriage, business partners, clients, audience, and other. Now, if you are like me and you are serving an audience, then Venus, the goddess of popularity, the diva, or persuasion, or beauty, or luck, is going to be enhancing that marketplace for us. However, it's also good for love. So she star points here, and she tells us all on October 22nd, add what? 4 years. It takes her 4 years to finish that star point cycle. And also mostly in the 10 months that follow, it's an initiation saying there's a solid new beginning in romantic, dedicated, monogamous love for most Aries. And if you're with someone, it means getting married or moving in. It's an upgrade. It's a deeper level of harmonious commitment. Yay. But Venus is invisible until about December 5th or 6th. So therefore, as she is not visible yet, we may not see some of the super feeling of this goodness until we get to the month of December. We may have to have a sense of it's there, we know it, but we don't see it yet. And if you are a single Aries, this is a wonderful, wonderful transit. But yeah, wait till December when she's visible for a new love story of great significance to enter your life. So Aries, I talked about most of the things that I think you need to know about. I'm just taking a quick look at my calendar, asking if there's anything I forgot that you should know about. Yes, I will say one more thing. Mars, your ruler, will be squaring Neptune. Mars squaring Neptune. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly tension here between what's real and not real, and what direction and decisions you should make or not make based on what could be fantastical, illusional, delusional, or mistaken understandings or beliefs. And he will do this square on October 10th, 11th, 12th to Neptune. And it's a part of a larger narrative. It's a part of a larger story of him squaring Neptune on November 20th. As he retrogrades, and again in March of 2023 as he goes direct. So, you know, you may not have the big picture yet, but on October 10th, 11th, 12th, this first pass of Mars, going direct, squaring Neptune in Pisces is important. Now, where does this happen for us? Well, Neptune is in our 12th house of our self-undoing, our addictions, and our past life stuff. And Mars is squaring from the 3rd house of siblings, trips, and travel, skills-based learning. I guess I'd say these are both metacosmos, between the world's houses. So at some level, some of this could be very subtle, but some of it could be about travel. We take trips and travel, especially with Mars in the 3rd, trains, planes, and automobiles. Neptune is in the house of foreign shores and faraway lands. So this can be the square October 10th, 11th, 12th could be the push to take a trip to some kind of fantastical, dreamy place. And maybe the square is also saying that there's challenges about getting that off the ground, or there's concerns about whether it's the right decision or the right direction. And then on November 20th, when he retrogrades to do the same thing again, you'll readdress some of these questions. And then finally, you'll do one more pass on March 12th of 2023. Unfortunately, with these 3 past stories, you don't know the full picture until you go through all 3, but I'm giving my best to sky read a true story here for you and give you a heads up. By the way, depends on when you're watching this, but if you watch this before the October 15th, jump aboard my Sky Reader train. I'm teaching my 2.0 iteration, 8-week-long class, live calls with me, interaction, tag me in the Facebook group, weekly coaching calls. It's all about the Sky Reader beginner astrology course, how to time your best life and become your own astrologer. If you're interested, you can tend to watch this before the middle of October. Doors will close the day before October the 14th. Jump on in. All right. Ciao, guys. Thanks for listening. There is a wait list as I record this on September 19th. The wait list will close on October 2nd. So jump onto the wait list for the early bird discount price. Otherwise, you are definitely going to have to just pay the full price. Okay. Ciao, ciao. And thanks, Aries. Thanks, us. Yes. All right. Did I talk like an auctioneer today? Like, subscribe, hit my bell. Thank you.